probably a blanket. Blanket.
Hey y'all. Hey luminaries. Thanks for coming. Welcome. I have it on slow chat. So if you notice that maybe your message doesn't come through, it might just be that you've commented too soon. It's, I think, set at 15 seconds. So it's not too bad. But I'm glad you all are here. So today I wanted to talk about, I was told yesterday by a local in the Beach Creek area that they were there in Beach Creek the day that Summer disappeared on June 15th, 2021. They said they arrived there at 6:25, and as they were pulling down Beach Creek, the law was behind them. And I questioned it. I thought, well, how could that be possible? 6:25. They didn't even get called until 6:30. And so I did push back and I explained, hey, they didn't even call 911 until 6:30. So are you sure it wasn't 7:25? And they said, no, I'm positive. It was 6:25. They said they looked at their clock in their car. They know that it was 6:25. So again, I pushed back and I said, I just don't see how that's possible because according to everything I've heard, the police did not arrive until 7:09. And they said that, well, they interrupted me. They said, Piper, listen, I am telling you, I am certain, I am 100% positive. I got home, I was pulling down Beach Creek at 6:25. The police were behind me. I looked at my clock. I know it was 6:25. So I thought, well, okay. Now, I'm not saying I believe or that they couldn't have made a mistake or something, their clock could have been off. Who knows? But I thought, okay, let me just take their word for a moment. What does that mean for everything else? Well, first things first, it would mean that the information that we have might not be as correct as we thought, right? So when a couple people had posted about this whole, the cops were there um, at 6:30 and, where's the dash cam vid, that kind of stuff. I just want to say there is no dash cam video that my source has or that my source mentioned. Now, I'm certain police officers would have that. I don't think that they would release that information to us. The other thing that was brought up was the uh, dispatch call. So I am going to play a couple things for you all, and just for good measure, so that we can be making some, at least informed opinions. I almost didn't make the live because I thought, everybody's really upset. It's riling people up and it's not worth arguing over. And I decided to go on with it and give the information that the local gave me. And I'll say, I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm not trying to prove anything. What I'm doing is sharing the information that was given to me, the context of that conversation, the back and forth, like, no, that can't be possible. Yes, I'm certain it is, that kind of thing. Um, so that, at least it's out there. If it doesn't end up being true, great, fine. But at least let's put it out there. Let's think about it. Let's at least consider it, because there are some things that make me think, well, that would explain a couple things. So we'll talk about it more in a moment, but let's listen to, well, first, let me say hi to chat and sort through some of these comments. But then we'll watch these short videos. What we're going to do is watch the or listen to the dispatch call. And of course, it doesn't have a timestamp on it, but we'll listen to it just for good measure. And then I also want to listen to the part of the press conference that I where they mention the actual time of the phone call, or the time of the dispatch. Okay, so let me get in here and look at some of these comments. Okay. Oh, hey, Scott H, Lip Lock, Truth and Justice, Daisy Joe, Music City Mom, Scotland Little Boston, Miss Glass with a hammer. She's going to break the glass. Dazed and Confused, Ren, Susan, PJ's Parlay, Robonzo. Hey, everybody. Sweet Sativa. I love you. Katie Kitty. Oh, what were we watching? Oh, it was just a song I wanted to play for the intro. I thought a war cry would be appropriate, don't you? Jennifer, Susie Sue, Miranda Cromer, Bug Love, AJ. Hey, AJ, for About Justice. My buddy. Ray Bird, Green Eyed Lady, Lip Lock, I already said that. Lisa, hey, Country Christian. Oh, hell no. Michelle Reed Duncan. I hope I don't repeat many of these. Lola Rue. Weird intro. Feels like I just took peyote. Is this where all the losers hang out who cry about real life stuff while they go real life daily? Yeah, looks like it. I think there's about 310 of us losers in here. Welcome. You're in the right crowd. Okay, Fairy Dust Diaries. Hey, Jax. That's my son. Mamacita. Let's see. Am I missing anybody? Skilo. I think I've got everybody. Connie Hilliker. Angie Shea. Moulin Rouge. Bonjour. Louisiana Girl. Un autre français. Geraldine Morris. Hello from Ireland. Hello, Ireland. Funny Face Brenda. Just the facts. You might be in the wrong place. We're giving some non-facts today. Nothing we can prove, but we'll, it was their experience, so I'm going to share it. Robin Zig, I can't remember if I mentioned you. I saw you earlier, and I don't know if I mentioned you. Amber, Elizabeth, Misty Dawn. I'm scrolling fast. Breeze, telling their stories. Mama Buzz, I'm a loser, baby. Hatties, Hunches and Inklings. All right. I think I got everybody. All right. Good. Okay. So let me get over to, let me share this. Let me stop sharing and then restart here. And I'm just going to share my whole entire screen. So I'm sorry it's not going to be, well, I'll just share a window. How about that? Nope, whole screen. Okay. Losers regulate. Hey, Jennifer. Okay. So let me get over here. And the first thing we'll listen to is the dispatch. And this is from WJHL. So I'm giving them props here. This is theirs. It's going to be echoey at first. Hang on.
Tonight, the radio scanner traffic from emergency dispatchers. The night Summer Wells disappeared. Take a listen.
Keeping around from 110, 110 Ben Hill Road off of Beach Creek should be the first residence on your right. Reference to a missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk. came home. Now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
Again, audio from police scanner traffic that evening. Dispatchers referenced Summer Wells as a 4-year-old. We now heard that correction the following day that, in fact, she is 5 years old.
A lot. I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here.
It's on a playlist, so it started the next video. Sorry about that. So with the dispatch call, clearly there's no time on it. So that's not very helpful. And they don't state any time in the actual call aside from what we all know is they'd been looking for her for 10 minutes, that kind of thing. So that's no help. Now, other people have mentioned the scanner traffic, and there is on the scanner at around, I believe it was 6:23, but there's no timestamps on the scanner. But at 6:23, the call goes out over dispatch, and they state what everybody knows, what we just heard, right? So when you rewind an hour, there is no call on the scanner, no dispatch at 5:30, or, well, I should say an hour earlier. I don't know for sure what time that dispatch went out. Perhaps somebody does. Maybe there's timestamps on it on Broadcastify if you pay for the subscription. But for me, I didn't see any timestamps. So I can't be certain of what time that dispatch call went out, aside from what is stated in WJHL. The other thing, the time and date was on my scanner. Let's see, was on my scanner for the call when I looked until they erased it. Yeah, Lady R, I agree. About the erasing stuff. I'm almost wondering, what's that all about? But so let's see. Didn't the dispatch call had an officer arriving, and that officer gave the time? No, they don't usually say a time when they arrive. They'll just say like 1098 or something, whatever it is, whatever their call signal is that I don't know them. But so the way I guess that we could eventually prove it is to have access to these call logs, the calls that are coming in to 911. Unfortunately, they aren't releasing those, nor are they releasing the 911 calls. That's my understanding. I have not personally tried to request them, but that's my understanding from what others have said. So the reason that I thought, well, go with me. Let's just go down this road together. Let's act like this person is right. 6:25, they're pulling down Beach Creek. The law's behind them, and they're positive, and let's just say they're correct, okay? And that they're not mistaken. Well, that might explain why Don was having so much confusion with the 5:30 time. It would certainly make sense. Another thing is that if two of them called, let's say two of them called, right? They both called, Don and Candace. That's what we've been told. They both called. So, Don is calling from another county, and I'm sure that county would then forward him to the Hawkins County Dispatch. And I know that they group those calls. Like if they have a shooting at a mall or something, or a car accident, they're not going to make a call for every time that the accident is reported. Excuse me just a moment, please. Sorry, somebody just walked in my room. I'm sorry, hang on. Goodness, I'm sorry, guys. So I don't think that they would dispatch with every single 911 call they got about the same call, or the same run, I should say. So that makes sense that there would only be one. But what doesn't make sense, I guess, is this person being so certain. Somebody else said something in a comment. I think comments are really interesting. And of course, comments are hearsay as well. But they said that time would match up with some text or something, not text, but something that Jody Sue had said. And then somebody else contacted me and said that doesn't match up with something Jody Sue said. So it's like I had all these people coming at me from every direction. And so I challenge you guys to fact check this. Together, I think we can get more done rather than one person trying to run around and look at all these sources, especially when you're talking about Jody Sue's videos that are very, very long, and there's lots of them. So to be able to go through and try to find those kinds of things, like where she said it and also where she texted it, that kind of thing. So I'm kind of calling on you guys to help, can we figure this out together? Is this something that could be legitimate? This person is really convinced. I think they would have bet their entire house. They would have sworn on their family. Let's put it that way. They are very convinced. They would not back down. When I told them multiple times it was impossible, they were not backing down. They were telling me they are very positive. So again, let's assume that they're telling me the truth. So if they are telling me the truth, why would law enforcement only release the 623 call? Another thing is, and not tell us about the 530 call. Are they trying to trip up the wells? Are they trying to hold out a piece of information? Are they trying to provide misinformation? Somebody said law enforcement doesn't lie. Well, I beg to differ. They do. They put out misinformation on the regular. It's kind of something they do. So are they trying to trip someone up? What could it be? Another thing was, if you all remember Dawn mentioning that when the police came that day, they erased everything on their phones after 3:00. So I thought, goodness, did they make calls an hour apart, like one at 5:30 and one at 6:30? And that's why law enforcement erased their phones so they couldn't go back and jog their memories and get their story straight. Another thing is, law enforcement has repeatedly told the Wells not to discuss their timeline. Again, is that because they don't want folks knowing about the two separate calls? Do they not want folks knowing they called at 5:30? I don't know. Did they call at 5:30 and the law messed it up? They forgot to dispatch until 6. What happened? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make sense that if they did say they dispatched at 6:23 and this person was pulling up at 6:25, I suppose if the police were already there, they could have gotten there that quickly if they were close on another call, say. But again, we're told, no, they arrived at 7:09. So these are the things that I wanted to throw out there for you all to think about and to possibly research and, see if anybody else can come up with, any additional information on this. If you happen to know locals or anybody that lives in that area, let's start asking around. Hey, what time did you notice the law was there? I just don't think it hurts to at least discuss it. So let's see. Yes, I asked that question, Aries Fire. Aries Fire asked, did the person say if a patrol car was just following him in that area or actually en route, like light, siren, going on a call. No, they were going on a call and they pulled up to the wells. They turned on Ben Hill and all that. Robin said in her interview with Chris that Candace rang her after 6:30. Yes. Yeah. That doesn't tell me anything though, you know? She could have called anytime. She could have called before Summer went missing. She could have called 3 hours after Summer went missing. The reason the time is so important to me, y'all, is because it can make a huge difference. It really changes the so-called gap, you know, in time. Yes, dazed and confused. They did not release that call because there's something going on. And I can't think of what would be going on other than a difference in time information. What else could it be? I mean, the call would have been the same. Hey, my child's missing. Maybe one person said, you know, I went on a walk. The other person said, I came in the house and she was gone. I don't know. Maybe that's it. But yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Why won't they release these calls? Too bad we don't have security cam footage. Doesn't that seem odd? That neighbor was very security conscious, yet here we are. Cheeky. I agree. And apparently there were cameras. Andy said that he can't say for sure who took them, but he knows that, they were there and Jody Sue moved out and then they were gone along with stuff from inside the house. So kind of sounds like maybe Jody Sue took them, but I don't know for sure. And they don't know, Andy doesn't know for sure. But it makes you wonder why you would take them if you did. Maybe she was selling them. She had a couple $1,000s. At the time, everybody was pitching in for her hotel room to save her from the danger. She had a couple $1,000s because she had sold a bunch of silver and stuff, belongings from Andy's. Okay. Sorry, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Is there a local? Oops, darn it. Those comments move so fast. NH girl, hey girl. Is this local a reliable, upstanding citizen or a person who may be paid to say something like that? Just a legit question. I agree. You may not even know the answer. I don't know the answer, actually. I don't know them. It's not like I grew up next to this person or I've been friends with them for years or anything like that. So I can't judge. I mean, they seem like an upstanding citizen. They're not a horrible person or anything, I don't think. They don't have any kind of violent crime history or anything like that on their background report or theft or anything like that. I don't know if they could be paid to do something like that. I don't know. That's the thing. Oh, what is Chris typing about? She hates me. So that might be it. Don said, law enforcement erased all 3 of our phones from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Are you sure about that, Don? You sure you didn't? Well, it could have been him or it could have been law enforcement, especially if they were trying to obscure information that they didn't want them to be able to go back and verify in order to keep their story straight. Lady R, it is weird and can't say because the case is open, right? That's not a reason to not share the 911 call. When Brandon Larson went missing, they shared his 911 call, and that was real controversial, and it was in Texas. Yeah, I don't know why they will not share. Piper, why would you do that? Mama Bear was there for you in your darkest moment. What is she talking about? Chris, would you like to contact me directly? If you have a problem with me, why don't you contact me directly? I know it's clear that you don't understand etiquette, but this probably is not the proper place to take up a personal issue with me. Okay, Chris? All right. You take care now. Bye-bye. Love you, Mina. Okay. Wonder if Jody Sue Brown had her son running through the woods to take the SD cards from the trail cams. Well, I don't know. The entire cams ended up missing. So, oh no, those SD card or those cameras did not have SD cards. That's right. I don't believe they had SD cards. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure about that, actually. I might be wrong on that. I might be getting that mixed up with phones and SIM cards. I don't know. Okay, let me take that back. I don't know if they had SD cards. They would have to, wouldn't they? Well, unless they were Wi-Fi'd to the receiver to record. And there was a receiver. Amber, Scott H, I've been a member of your channel for 3 more months now. I'm not anyone trash talk you. Aw. It's only DNC's word and their phones were wiped. Yeah. Yeah, the plot keeps thickening. Still going through these comments. My opinion, I never know whether it's Rin or Ryan. Everything wiped from phones at 3 p.m. so players' parents can't refer to phone to confirm story. I agree. Law enforcement wants people to go on memory only. I agree with that. Yeah, the whole timeline is effed, Sweet Sativa. It's just ridiculous. Do they normally release calls? I don't know about normally, but they have. Yeah, too bad we don't have security footage. Yeah, I read that one earlier. Are there any other questions? I was just going to make this kind of a short live. I can also open the panel up if anybody has anything, like if they'd want to chat about this. Let me put the link down there. Jody Sue said SD card was erased, not taken. Oh, okay. Hold on, y'all. Okay, now if you're going to come up, you just have to show me your face, just so I know you're not going to porn bomb me. Hey, Tacky. Hey, Bon. Long time no see. But if you are going to come on panel, before I put you on the stream, you just need to flash your face at me and then turn your camera back off, and then I can put you back on stream, okay? Or put you on the stream and we can chat. So there's that. I will pin it to the top. Okay. So that's pinned. Okay, Chris, do you think maybe you could argue another time and not in my chat? I don't want to block you because I don't like to block anybody ever. So if you would like to talk to me personally and not disrupt the chat with 420 people in there, please do. Feel free. You know my Facebook. So, okay. All right. So any questions? And if not, then I will post on out of here. I'm just looking, watching chat. Oh, about what Jody Sue Brown has done to her mom. So let me explain that. So I had talked, of course, to Andy, and he said that well, he told me that. He's the one who told me that she had apparently a long time ago, when she was maybe 10 or 11 or so years old, had tied her mother to the bed and did not set her on fire. I think was threatening to set her on fire. So Yeah, that's that story. Let's see. Sent right to his phone. Oh, nice. Lady R, mine are micro SD cards. Okay. Okay, so Discovering the Truth has a question. Let's see. If it was erased and put back in trail cam, wouldn't it start recording when card is inserted back and catch the culprit that had removed it? One would think. That's a very logical and rational point. Very good. Yeah, good point. Jody Sue said Don and Andy arrived at the same time. That was my understanding too, that he got home the same time as Don. Sure, he pastes the same cap 10 times in one live. I do? I'm sorry. I probably messed something up. Sorry. Oh, no problem. I hope I answered it. How does a 10-year-old tie their mom to a bed or anything else for that matter? I don't know. I have no idea. I do know her mom had some addiction issues. I don't know if she was already in bed and she tied her down. I have no idea. I wasn't there. Oh, okay. Okay, KSB. I see. Or care 22956. I got you. I was like, I don't know what that means. You could cover the camera until you were out of view with your hand or something. That's a good point. As long as you don't ever have to walk in front of it in the next, to get back to your vehicle or your home. Wait, I missed it. Did Andy go to the shed as well? No, Andy went home. Yeah, all the telling info does seem to be being erased, doesn't it? The phone data, SD cards. You just hope that that law enforcement isn't doing that on purpose. No, Jody Sue did not grow up with her grandfather. I mean, her papa was, I shouldn't say that. I mean, her papa was around and all of that. That's what I was wondering. I wondered if maybe her mom was asleep. Let's see. I hope I haven't missed if there was a question. Lady R, I view footage with a phone app. Oh, okay. What do you think happened to Summer? Oh boy. I have an opinion, but it's much different from a very good friend of mine. And I don't want to upset that friend for having a different opinion. But I don't know. I have two main theories. Let me share them. The first theory is that, and now remember, these are hypotheses. These are not facts. I'm not slandering anybody. I'm not, saying somebody did something. My first theory is possibly there was an accident, and that's why Candace screamed, "What did you do? What did you do?" And the reason I think possibly that is when we all know that the boys told Candace supposedly that she had walked out the back door, or she'd gone downstairs. And then you hear everybody else saying, as far as law enforcement, WJHL, she was last seen on the property. So, and then somebody else said it yet again, which who knows if it's disinformation or misinformation, that she was playing outside. They were playing hide and seek, she and her brothers. So I thought, oh my gosh, what if something terrible happened? And then Candace walked out, saw her, rest her soul, passed away or something. I hope that's not the case. And she said, "What did you do? What did you do?" And then, of course, Jody Sue was out there. She heard that. And then everything goes from there. Possibly when she drove by Jody Sue crying, possibly Summer was in the car. Something interesting. Have you guys ever heard of I think it's called a double burial? So Andy told me the story. He said a couple days after Summer went missing that he woke up to the sound of gospel music, and he was like, it really kind of freaked him out because, little girl went missing, and then all of a sudden he's hearing gospel music. Well, at first I thought he was going to say Robin was down at the street singing gospel music or something. but he said that he walked outside and it was a funeral over at the church. And then he went on to tell me that there's something called a double burial or a double stack or something like that. Anyway, what they do is, I guess and he said people down there in Beach Creek know about this. Over in that cemetery, they dig the hole a day or two in advance before the funeral, and it sits there open. And what people, I guess, have done is they go into that pre-dug hole where they're going to put a deceased individual, in the casket, and they dig up an additional foot or so, put the person they're trying to hide or the gun or whatever it is they're trying to hide in there, cover it up with dirt, make it nice and flat so it's not noticeable. And because not much time passes, it's not like, it would settle. He said, and then what they do is when it comes time for before the funeral, they put a cement vault in, and that would go right over whoever you laid there. And then inside that vault goes the casket. Then the casket closes, the vault closes, and the dirt goes on top. And he said, that's a thing. And he said that the day that Summer went missing, he said it was either that day or if not, it was the next day. He said, but he knows for sure there was an open grave over there. And then the funeral was when he heard the gospel music, which was a couple days after Summer went missing. So I thought that was interesting. It's someplace that is very, very close at that Solomon Baptist Church, but could also explain why nobody's finding anything. Okay, let me go back to these questions. And I know I've missed a ton. I'm going to start at the bottom, okay? Who said this? About the double burial? That was a story from Andy. He told me that there was an open grave there. He cannot remember if it was the day of or the day after. He said, but that's something that people could check into with the cemetery. There's a graveyard called Morrison Cemetery. Yeah, across the street. Yeah. Should be oh yes, you would think there would be a date on the headstone by now. That's what I was thinking. Also, you guys, when you guys go out there, I'm curious. There is a vehicle that I see, or that somebody is seeing over there, across from Solomon Baptist Church. There's a property there, and there's like a single pine tree by itself, and there's a vehicle there, and it looks like Jackie Dobbs' green blazer, that blue, whatever that blazer is. It looked like that blazer, like that greenish blue or blue kind of color. If anybody's in that area, could y'all stop in and just see if you can see the plate? Is that a Georgia plate? If anybody's in the area, that would be great. I'm just curious. Thank you so much. Yeah, Justice for All. I would think there would be a headstone by now. I think that's something that could be checked into. That's why I'm putting it out there. When I heard that, I thought they meant they put someone in a casket. No. Yeah, nope. He was talking about they dig the hole in advance. Did he tell LE? I didn't ask him if he did or not. I know that he's talked to TBI multiple times, not multiple times, but a couple of times at least. I saw some text that he had back and forth with law enforcement where he had sent some information that he thought he had found. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. But if it were just some rando, pervert or something, that sure would be an easy place to get rid of her quick, trying to look. Is he ever going to come on and speak? Yeah, he created a YouTube channel. So we're getting that set up, and hopefully it'll be live and ready to go. But his stepdaughter tested positive for COVID today, and he's been sick for 2 days. So I believe he probably has COVID too. So, I did not say hi to Benny Keys. Hi, Benny. Hi, Lilac Lotus, Adrian Watkins, Ray, Bobby Brown, Moonshine Girl. Did you guys know that Ben Hill was a moonshiner? He was a moonshiner. He ended up getting really bad liver disease and committing the S word. You guys, I'll have to get on and tell about the hauntings of Beach Creek too sometime. I think that'll be interesting. Okay, you guys, I went through the questions as best I could. There's a lot of comments, so I couldn't go through every one of them, but I did try to scroll through and answer the ones I saw. If I missed any, I'm sure I did. I do apologize for that. But I thank you guys all so much for coming. And I'm going to leave you out with my intro, and then we'll go back to that war cry. How's that? Thank you so much for coming, you all. You guys are all luminaries, always shining your light. Thank you so much. And thank you to my beautiful, kind mods, Allie, Techie, Country Christian. I love you guys all. Thank you all. Thank you all so much.
a blanket.